2024, last market update of the year. Danny was good enough to pull numbers again. Thank you for doing that all year, all the time. Let's take a look and see how this changed, Danny. I'm curious myself.
Yeah, so I'm glad to do it. And we are careening towards the end of the year. As you mentioned, things are slower. That is normal, right? Everybody's out for the holidays. Things have really cooled off. You can see that we only had a little over 1,700 homes that were sold last month in November. Compared to last year, that's down 1%. It's down 19% from the prior month. So just, again, as a reflection of the kind of typical seasonality that we see. Current inventory is a little over 3,300 homes, which puts the month supply at almost 1.6 months, which means things are kind of sitting out there for a bit.
Right, fair enough. That's also higher than typical, right? The current inventory.
Yes, and that's again another thing that we've seen is that as things have slowed down, there's just less appetite in the market to take the existing homes out of the inventory, and again, that's just a reflection of this kind of end of the year slowdown.
Yeah, fair enough. So end of the year slowdown in full effect. We felt some of that, but buyers are taking advantage of the fact that the market is balancing. And we can see that with the average sales price versus list price is down further. I'll let you go over the math there, Dan.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see that the average list price was just under 400,000, and the average sale price was just around 386,000. So there's a bit of a gap there between where things are listing and where they're ultimately selling, which again is just a reflection of there's not as much competition in the market. You know, things that maybe were bid up to a higher price point previously, they'd be going above asking. We heard about a lot of that during the peak season this year. That's done. You know, and now what's happening is people are listing houses. There's not enough competition. So a lot of times they're having to actually reduce the price to get some interest. And I guess one of the things that's interesting about this chart is even though things are down now, if you trace back to the left and look at where things were last year, you know, we're down 1% month over month this year, right? Just a little bit, but we're actually up 6% compared to the same month last year. So that's another almost $23,000 of equity or home value compared to this time last year. So even though things have come down from our peak this year, we're still up year over year, and I think that that's one of the really important trends for people to consider, both as homeowners and also as people waiting to buy. I think everybody's been waiting for interest rates to come down. Clearly that plays into, you know, just kind of the cost of ownership. So does this price. And that's the thing that we've been trying to message over these last couple of years.
Yeah, we're consistently up every year for the last few years. Prices aren't, let me say this a different way, houses aren't getting cheaper, even with the interest rates coming down. So that's always going to be the case. I think houses are unique. That's why they're valuable. As far as percentage over and under asking goes, the donut chart, as we like to call it, that orange section, the below asking portion, is way higher than I think I've seen it since we started running these numbers.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And we usually see that big blue section where things are within plus or minus 5% of the list price. Most of the time, it's about 2/3 of what sells in a month. That's very consistent. What changes is the things that are 5% or more lower or 5% or more higher than that list price. And what we've seen is that green section where things have gone above asking by 5% or more trade with that orange section. And again, this is just another reflection of the kind of slowing of the market. Things are going below asking to a greater degree, as you pointed out, through the rest of this year.
Yeah. So one thing we need to keep in context, I want to point out, I don't know that we'd call it slowing because the values keep getting higher, but we are balancing out a bit. Even with sellers asking more and getting more than they did the previous year, we are starting to see things go for under more frequently. Days on the market's reflective of that. That's seasonal as well. I think that's more seasonal than anything. Very similar to numbers this time last year. And then price reductions, Danny, we got a little higher than expected on this set.
Yeah, and you can see again, you look at the pattern, it goes up, it goes down, right? This again is a reflection of very similar dynamic. The amount of competition that exists around the available homes causes people to either go above asking or it causes sellers to have to reduce their price, some offers to come in. And so what we're seeing is as things enter the winter months here, the percentage that have sold with a price reduction has gone up and up and up. And now it was well over a third of the homes that were sold last month.
Yeah, and I expect that to continue as the market balances out. The mortgage rates could change that, but they've not been moving that much. We did hit a spell a couple months ago that was right around 6%. That's about the lowest we've seen in several years. You know, if you're starting to get used to that 6.5% interest rate average, you can start to wrap your head around the rest of the market, and the values keep going up. So just keep that in mind. Even though things are going for under asking, things are taking longer on average to sell. Overall, you are paying more now than you were 2 years ago. And I think that trend's going to continue. I don't know why it wouldn't, but we'll continue to track as always. Danny, thanks for always doing the numbers, my man. And I hope your holidays are going well, and I'll see you next year, I guess.